we are talking about this interview. As I said, I'm going to work backwards. The interview that we are talking about, Donald Trump did sit down with Maria Bartiromo, and she did ask the question, are you expecting a recession? Just like they were asked on the plane there. He was asked on the plane, and this was his answer.
Are you expecting a recession this year?
I hate to predict things like that. There is a period of transition.
That's a yes, by the way.
Because what we're doing is very big. We're bringing wealth back to America. That's a big thing. And there are always periods of, it takes a little time. It takes a little time. But I think it should be great for us. I mean, I think it should be great. It's going to be great ultimately for the farmer. You know, don't forget,
he doesn't even believe his own answer. You could see him struggling through that answer that, it's going to take some time. Just everybody relax. I mean, if you don't have a job, if you can't pay your bills, I mean, what's the big deal? Like, what's going to happen to you? You're going to be on the streets? Who cares? But in 2 years, when all this settles down, you're going to be so rich that you're going to be happy that you lived on the streets. That the amount of money that you're going to have, the 2 years as a homeless person is going to be worth it. So just relax, everybody. I don't know what everybody's making such a big deal about this for, but Maria, to her sort of credit, she asked about some clarity, you know, that some CEOs and some people with his tariffs and everything might be asking a few questions. And again, another word salad by this idiot that you people decided was the best idea to have as your president.
Spoke to the president of Mexico today. I want to talk about tariffs because even as you're seeing this optimism and excitement, there's some nervousness over your tariffs. Markets have been selling off. People are not sure how to view it. Why did you roll back or put a pause into some of the tariffs until April 2nd?
Because I wanted to help Mexico and Canada to a certain extent. We're a big country, and they do a lot of their business with us, whereas
that's because a lot of automakers were calling him or getting in touch with him or in some way getting in touch with him and going, dude, what the fuck? You are killing us. And we are huge supporters of you.
In our case, it's much less significant. We do very little with Canada by comparison. And I wanted to help the American car makers until April 2nd. April 2nd, it becomes all reciprocal. What they charge us, we charge them. It's a big deal, but what they charge us, we charge them. But this is short term, and I felt that for the good of the American car makers and the MCA, you know, the USMCA, that's Mexico, Canada, I thought it would be a fair thing to do. And so I gave them a little bit of a break for this short period of time.
But I asked you about this before, and I know you told me when I asked you, I said, you did use MCA, you put this together.
Yeah.
And yet then you come back and you change it up with these tariffs, and you said to me at that time, I did it because I can. I put an amendment in there, and I said in 6 years I can change it. But I think CEOs want to see predictability. They say, look, I have to speak with shareholders. I've got to make plans for CapEx spending. I can't if it's 20% one day and then it's off for a month and it's 25%.
Yeah.
So can you give us a sense of whether or not we are going to get clarity for the business community?
Well, I think so. But, you know, the tariffs could go up as time goes by, and they may go up. And, you know, I don't know if it's predictability. I think
so. That's not clarity.
No, I think.
Yeah, I mean, that's not clarity. This guy's never clear because first of all, he doesn't know the answers to any of these questions. He has no idea, no clue. And like I said, everything that comes out of his mouth is just nothing but filler. And I'm going to just talk until I can get through this interview. I already know my supporters. I already have enough votes. People voted for me. I'm the president of the United States. I can say whatever the fuck I want. It is clear. It doesn't matter what comes out of my mouth. These idiots are going to buy it no matter what. I got them. So ask away your stupid questions. I don't really care. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. People will shake their head and go, that guy's a genius. And then I'm going to get up and go play golf and let Elon run the fucking country. That's basically what is happening. And it is just absolutely mind-boggling to me that we have so many people in this country that even some people who are being hurt by this are going, just wait to see what he does, man. I mean, he knows what he's doing. He's a great businessman. I mean, the guy's a billionaire, and you guys don't trust in what he's doing and how he's doing it. And the answer is no, because he's been a terrible businessman his whole life. He's failed at basically everything he's put his fucking hands on. And now we have a guy who has also skin in the game, who is telling us we need to cut this, we need to cut this, we need to cut this, but we are not cutting the programs that are funding him. I've always asked this question. We have a government right now that says, I do not believe in climate change. We're pulling out of the Paris Agreement because climate change is a hoax. We have a guy that is looking on how to cut government waste in our government. And this very guy receives billions of dollars in subsidies to his automobile that is being built to help combat climate change. So the very simple question is, if we have a government and he works for that very government that says that climate change is a hoax, then why is the money going to his car companies not considered waste? I would consider that waste if my government says, clear out all the waste and anything that we don't agree with needs to be cut. I don't know why subsidies to Tesla was not the first thing cut. Somebody explain that to me. Answer that question for me and make it make sense. I don't know how you're going to do that because it doesn't make sense. But I want to play this real quick. This is to what they're going to be doing. I already told you, when these bastards won and they were talking tariffs, and we knew this was coming. We knew they were going to tank the market. We knew they were not going to care about the American people. And we also knew that when things went backwards, what were they going to do? They were also going to go backwards. They were going to find a way to blame it on the previous administration. Now, this obviously makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. Again, when you had GDP growth, 15 out of 16 quarters were positive, when you created the most jobs of all time, when unemployment was at a historic lows for a 2 straight year period, when the stock market and the S&P were breaking record highs constantly through his presidency, how in the hell 2 months after he leaves, everything starts crashing all of a sudden? That's what you're going to try to convince all of America? Now, we already know the people you are going to convince. That's happening. And this is what we said we knew was going to happen. The script has been written for years in advance for these flying monkeys. Every single thing that they have mapped out, they already have a script that is mapped out to tell these people as to why it's not their fault, so they can continue to go around and tell people why it's not their fault. They are also filling in the podcasters and the influencers on X and the Fox Newses and the Newsmax people on the narrative they need to take every single day to make sure that none of the cult members go backwards on us. This is very important that you follow this script to a T, and they've been doing this for a very long time. And this is the only reason why somebody like Donald Trump can win the presidency of the United States. I've used this analogy before. Has anybody ever seen the movie Liar, Liar, where the kid makes a wish and says, you're not allowed to tell a lie for 24 straight hours? And sure enough, that wish comes true. Jim Carrey's character, the kid's dad, for one whole day could not tell a lie. If that happened in the the MAGAverse, and it happened with the Trump presidency, where they were not allowed to tell a lie, let's just say for one day, and they were forced to answer questions, it'd be all over for them. All over, because that's all they do. They lie constantly to the American people. And if they were forced to tell the truth, the impeachment hearings would be starting tomorrow, 100%. But here is what they are going to do, by the way, for quite some time. This is Caroline Leavitt, this worthless spokesperson for the president of the United States, already starting in on the script as to why this is not Donald Trump's fault.
The numbers we saw yesterday, the numbers we'll see tomorrow, are a snapshot of a moment in time. And as President Trump has said, and I'm here to echo the remarks of this president of this White House, we are in a period of economic transition. We are in a period of transition from the mess that was created under Joe Biden in the previous administration. Joe Biden left this country in an economic disaster.
Nobody can explain how he left it in a disaster, by the way. They just say those words, but never follow up with this, and this. And you know why they don't do that? You know the answer. Because they cannot. They can't. There is no answer to it. Now, as we know that they have absolutely no problem lying to you. They will make up stuff that is 100% not true, or they will take a few things and they will exaggerate it to a point to make it sound better, but it ultimately is not true. Joe Biden left Donald Trump a phenomenal economy. If you're listening to this and you don't believe me, you can look it up. People go, well, where do you want me to look it up? On Google? Google's just going to lie to me anyway. They're in bed with the Democrats, and every story that comes up is going to be CNN and MSNBC and biased people who say that it's not true. Fine. Forget about Google. Never do Google ever again. Let me ask you if this is an okay source. Go to Grok. Do you know what Grok is? That is Elon Musk's AI tool on Twitter. So go to Grok on Twitter and type in, did Joe Biden leave Donald Trump a great economy? Let me know what Grok says. Because if Grok is lying to you now, Elon Musk's Grok, if he's lying to you now, then there's no hope. No hope for you, no hope for me, no hope for anybody. Because if you're telling me that every single source that comes out, and I don't even know what the fuck Grok's going to say. Well, if Grok is real and it tells you the truth, I know exactly what it's going to say. It's going to say, fuck yeah, you did. What are you kidding me? Why'd you even ask this question? It's a stupid question. Of course, everybody knows that Biden left Donald Trump a great economy. But ask Grok. And see what old Grok says, and then come back to me, and we'll see how that works.